I am your friend Dr. Charles Apoki. I'm watching a video shared by RONN TV on the accident that took place in front of Omega Fire Ministries in Auchi, that crushed several vehicles and 3 people lost their lives. And from the voice, one of the voices, he said that this is again, that means it has been happening. And there is the case of the sister of a Big Brother Naija celebrity whose sister was also injured by the Ruth Otabo, was injured by the Dangote drivers, one of the Dangote drivers.
How many more families will suffer before action is taken?
Can you hear? How many drivers, how many citizens will suffer before action is taken? Apostle Suleiman said that these deaths are avoidable. Now let's analyze these Dangote trucks. Number one, there are 2 categories of these trucks. I have somebody I buy cement from in town here. He is a distributor of Dangote cement. So Dangote gives some of them trucks, and then they pay off the money for the trucks. So there are the ones who own trucks on, how will I call it? They buy from Dangote and then they pay off with as they trade with him. Is a business incentive. Then there are the ones owned by Dangote business himself. What is really the problem? Dangote is not the only company that has trucks. Boa Cement also has trucks. They might not be as many as Dangote's trucks, but the rate of accidents in proportion to the number of trucks, that of Dangote is proportionately higher. Lafarge, they carry cement from Iwekoro. I think somewhere Iwekoro should be right. They have trucks and they distribute cement. Their drivers are not usually involved in accidents like the Dangote trucks. In fact, there was a trending video of a young lady that was driving trucks from the cement factory in the Lagos axis, Iwekoro, I suspect. And why is it that Dangote drivers get more involved in accidents than even oil vehicles, that petrol tankers and all that? Simple reasons. Number one, there is a spirit of impunity in the minds of these Dangote drivers. At one time, people were calling them kill and go in this part of the country. They can just kill people, crush cars, and go away and run away. Why? A lot of them know that if they are arrested with only one phone call, their trucks will be released. So they're crazy. Their trucks will be released because Dangote has clout in this country. Police, military, anything, governors, their trucks will be released. Number 2, a lot of the drivers that will be plowing the Auchi road are of northern Nigerian extraction. I am a federalist. I believe in the unity of this country. But it does not mean that when evil is perpetuated that we should not cite it. My lawyer has a haulage company, a big haulage company. And he carries pallets from Bitter Glass in Ughelli here to Lagos. One of the days, a truck driver, not necessarily Dangote's truck, but a young man of northern extraction, northern Nigerian extraction, crashed and destroyed some pallets. His driver pursued him and he got to a military checkpoint and stopped. The driver of my lawyer was able to catch up with him. Immediately he got there and spoke his language to the soldiers who were at that checkpoint, who were of the same extraction with him. They told him to go. That the driver of my lawyer should leave him. And he drove off. If that incident had happened between another person and a driver of northern extraction, the case would have been different. So there is this perception that some people have immunity in this country to behave anyhow, and it must be highlighted and emphasized. Number 2, many of these drivers are on drugs. They are on drugs. Go and check the rate of drug addiction in some parts of the north. A lot of them that work for us here, they will go to soak-away pits and inhale the methane gas that is coming from the soak-away pit to be high. They inhale glue. They work in our farms. They inhale all kinds of things. So, a lot of the drivers coming from the north, passing through Auchi, are on substances that can blur their sense of judgment. If you add that to the 2 other things I've said before, number 1, that they have a perception that nothing can happen to them because they are working for the richest man in Africa, and then they are of northern extraction, and most likely wherever you will carry them to in the south here, one phone call will free them, plus the fact that they are on drugs will make them more reckless. The next thing is that a lot of them do illegal businesses with Dangote trucks. I saw a very dark man stop some of them, one of them, along the Auchi, Okene to Benin Road. There was something like a container in the truck. That is not Dangote's property. And then there were people, passengers, that were coming out of the vehicle. So when these drivers do these illegal businesses, they carry a lot of things. Dangote trucks carry a lot of things. During lockdown, a lot of them were arrested in different parts of the country, particularly that Auchi axis, and a lot of things were seen. So when they do these illegal businesses, they want to run very fast to be able to meet their deadlines, drop those people, drop whatever they are carrying, and still meet the expectations. That's why they are prone to accidents and they are reckless. There has been allegations that a lot of them are not licensed. Though I remember that Dangote advertised for drivers, and some people, even a PhD holder, wrote an application to drive. It was in the news then. There were transport companies in Delta State here whose drivers were trained by the Federal Road Safety Corps and even were sent to a multinational for training. And that company had a monitoring team that were stationed randomly between Warri and Port Harcourt and between Warri and Lagos, where his vehicles ply. And so the drivers were a little bit more careful and the accident rate reduced. There is a National Institute for Transportation Technology. I will suggest that the Dangote group of companies should partner with the Nigerian Institute of Transportation Technology and the Federal Road Safety Corps to train his drivers and give them certification before employing them, and be retraining and retraining them, and they should go for monthly checks for substance abuse that will guarantee that they are sane. And the Dangote monitoring team should have things like breath analyzers and all that will screen their drivers in particular areas. The next thing is to put trackers in these vehicles. I traveled from Antananarivo to Morandova in Madagascar at night. What happened? There were two drivers in the vehicle. We drove to a point, and then another driver took over. Then we got to a point, another vehicle coming from the opposite direction. That driver entered our vehicle, and the driver going back to where we came from in Antananarivo drove back home to Antananarivo so he will get there. I took Lux Liner from Johannesburg to Durban, and the driver that drove us to Pietermaritzburg came down. Another driver drove from Port Elizabeth to Pietermaritzburg, Port Elizabeth, Durban, got to Pietermaritzburg, and then the drivers changed. The one that drove from Johannesburg went back to Johannesburg. The one from Pietermaritzburg drove back to Durban. So that person will sleep at home, will get home on time. If you do this exchange of vehicles, because you are using one brand of vehicles, and if another driver had been managing one thing in that vehicle, the new driver will notice what is wrong and complain. And then, just like aircraft, Dangote group of companies should have scheduled maintenance for each vehicle. Things like brakes, their indicators, their radiators, and several other things should be checked regularly. And the next thing is that Dangote himself has expanded too widely that he must have lost touch with the reality of his business. He should have subordinates that manage each of these units, that report to somebody that he has given capacity to have a good public relations mentality with the populace in Nigeria. That lady that had an accident, her hand and leg crushed, that the Dangote company has not done anything about, as at the last time I listened to the videos. A sub-unit should have taken up that case quickly. If there was, you don't need to wait for insurance to pay. If you insure the vehicles and you have insurance cover, by the time these things happen, Dangote is wealthy enough, kind enough. After all, I was in Miami for a wedding, to handle these issues promptly, to ameliorate the pains of the families, and at the same time create a good public image. But when there is this reckless, I don't care approach to people's lives and properties, it's a very negative attitude to life, and it smacks of disrespect for life, for the rules of this country, and it's a sign of impunity. Then our roads need to be better, but at the same time, if you go to the YouTube channels and you watch bad roads in the world, roads in Nigeria, if you watch truck drivers in different countries, Madagascar, Indonesia, different places, there are worse off roads. I'm not excusing our bad roads. But if these roads were good and these drivers are reckless, they will speed more and kill more people. They will speed more and kill more people. So let's not just say road, 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 road. Then, when oil was discovered in America, and people like Rockefeller and the other people started, they were moving oil with whatever, then they started moving oil with trains, crude oil with trains, refined product with trains. These rail lines were built by private business people. Dangote is rich enough. He could collaborate with BOA, collaborate with other people who have haulage businesses, and build or partner with the federal government and build railway lines that can carry goods and services, goods and other products close to where their distributors are. The train line from Ajaokuta or Anitakpe to Ujeu in Ughelli South local government area could remove some of the pressure of Dangote trucks on the Auchi road. If Dangote has carriages that can move on that line, and he will put his cement and whatever in those trains, when they reach different train stations along that route, they can offload, and then smaller vehicles or trucks can carry them to the nearby cities and distribute there. That will reduce the accident rate. There was supposed to be a train line from Calabar to Port Harcourt, Port Harcourt to Yenegua, Yenegua to Tweke, or Tweke back to Port Harcourt, to Patani, Patani to Ughelli, Ughelli to Efrun, Efrun to Sapele, Sapele to Benin, Benin to Shagamu, to Ore to Shagamu to Lagos. Dangote and any other transport company along this line can facilitate the building and completion of that rail line, people are willing to pay for their services, and they will recover their money, and they will save us a lot of stress, and our roads will last longer. These are some of the things Dangote and the big companies can be compelled by government or cajoled by government to invest in. Finally, where is the sheriff that is in town? There's a new sheriff in town. There's a new sheriff in town. Peter Obi, there's a new sheriff in town. When there was an unfortunate incident in Uromi where 16 people, our brethren of northern extraction, were harmed, eliminated at Uromi, Monday, Senator Monday, Governor Monday Okpewolo quickly ran to the north to go and apologize because he was the new sheriff in town. Now, people have been eliminated in Auchi, vehicles destroyed, frequent accident rates. You and your APC chairman that knows how to talk opata, you have not gone there to commiserate with the people. You have not demanded action and compensation from Dangote. You have not done anything. And then you, Najatu Mohammed, and that man that wears red cap, what is it, Dalong or whatever, you were quick to come. You have not made any release to commiserate with the people of Auchi that lost lives. And very dark man's reaction when he was telling those people to come out of the vehicles, he hugged them, gave them money to continue their journey. That's the kind of empathy every Nigerian should cultivate towards a fellow Nigerian. And then there was a suggestion in one of the videos that they should limit the movement of these Dangote trucks and most other trucks, if not every truck, to night time. There should be a time that they will move from wherever they are moving through these dangerous areas, those hills and all that, to where it's a little bit safer, and then let them rest there, and from there they can continue their journey. So these are suggestions, and I'm so disappointed in the governor of Edo State that a lot of them just behave like puppets. A lot of them are so clueless, and it's sad, it's sickening. I commiserate with the families that love their dear ones, and I pray that God will strengthen them, and I pray that in the protests to make the voices of the people of Auchi and Edo State in general heard, and Nigerians in general heard, should be peaceful, should have humanity in mind, just as very dark man demonstrated with those people that came out of that truck. I am Dr. Charles Apoki. There is hope for this country. All these things are not limited to any tribe. They are not limited to any region. These trucks are also crashing in the north, crashing in Lagos State, crashing in Delta State. We need a more scientific organized approach to these issues. I traveled extensively by road in Europe. From Germany, we went to Netherlands. From Netherlands, we went to Belgium. And these roads are beautiful. And you see a lot of trucks. From their number plates, you will find out they have been traveling long distances, crossing the Schengen nations. And then there are shoulders, hard shoulders with water, with whatever, where these people can sleep and rest before continuing their journeys. And in the Autobahn and some other places, there are lanes reserved for trucks, and you don't see them weaving up and down. We need to reorientate ourselves from this primitive, reckless behavior. Dr. Charles Apoki is my name. I have properties for sale. I have books for sale. I have counseling sessions that are paid for. We have a webinar coming up for those who subscribe to the webinar. 5th and 6th September is a Friday and a Saturday. It is tagged Initiating, Cultivating, Building, and Maximizing Networks. Now, tree way near tree. Now make monkeys smart. Send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62 for assistance. God bless you. There is hope for Nigeria.